Hey everybody, this is Michael from Crane Painting in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. We took video for the entire kitchen cabinet refinishing process that we did on this particular kitchen. This is a maple kitchen. We're taking it over to the eventual top coat will be General Finishes black poly in a satin finish. Turned out phenomenal. We took all this video because there are a lot of videos online about, how to brush and roll kitchen cabinets. There's some that show how to spray. But we really couldn't find anything that takes you through the entire process in how to do this. There are many different ways to do this. This just happens to be the way that we do it. Every kitchen is going to be a little bit different. We hope you find the information in here useful, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. All right, so a couple of things that we do on every job. Before we even start, we go through and we take pictures and video of any issues that there may be whatsoever with doors not closing correctly, any broken hinges, any dings in the floor, any stains on the floor, anything like that. We are extremely lucky to have had some really amazing clients. We always just want to make sure that we take note of everything so that there's no issues. We are in the kitchen. We're going to take some pictures. We've got some issues right there. A lot of the times what you'll find is that doors have not been shutting properly, or they're crooked, and they have been in the client's home for 15 years. And then, when you go ahead and put them back on, making sure that you did it all the right way. They may think, oh, well, why isn't that right? That's why we always take pictures beforehand. We notice things like heavy wear patterns in the floor, any gouges, scratches. Now what we're looking for when we do our documentation is any swelling. You can see here there's a lot of water damage in this kitchen. We want to make sure that we watch for that. Not only that, gouges, dings, dents, things like that. You also want to watch for warped doors. And you can take a look at the profile of them, whether they close correctly or not, but a lot of doors are warped already. You can see here we just have some more swelling of the MDF. It's kind of disintegrating. Without replacement, there's not a lot we can do with it. Here's just a lot of wear and tear. It's pretty normal for a kitchen of its age. What I think we have here, is the KCMA certified cabinet. It's important that I talk about this because the products that we're going to be using on this kitchen are KCMA certified. They stand up to the rigors and the wear and tear that happens in a kitchen. We do not use trim paint. We don't use Pro Classic, Advance, enamels, or cabinet coat. We have tried those products in the past, but we found that they're not durable enough for a kitchen, and they're not rated as such. They've not been tested and able to pass those rigorous durability ratings. All right, so we have a kitchen here. We are about to start. Mr. Kyle over there is removing all the knobs. But what we're also doing is we're going to be putting down our rosin paper. Now, there's a couple tricks to it. And what we use for taping it down really depends on what kind of flooring it is. So this is wood flooring. So it's important for us that we tape the perimeter with yellow tape. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay down our rosin paper, which Amanda has nicely done. When we put the rosin paper down, when you cut it, it's going to want to curl up, and we want to make sure that we flip it over so that the natural curl goes down and isn't trying to pull up the tape the entire time that we do this, because we don't want any problems. We're going to be spraying in here, and we just don't want any issues. I'll show you the tapes that we use on a cabinet job. One, we have yellow frog tape. So we're using this to tape right here. Okay, so we're going to use yellow frog tape to tape right here. And the reason we're using that on this job is because of the wooden floors. Leaving down any tape with any kind of tack to it on wooden floors, you're just asking for a problem. If you put down a high-tack tape and you're leaving it over for 3 days or anything like that, or even 1 day, you don't know how well the floors are finished, So what might happen is it may pull up the stain or the poly that's on the floor, and that can be a huge problem, and then we would have to redo the entire floor, which no one wants to do, and it would cost thousands of dollars. See that little gap right there? We will leave a little bit of a gap when we do tape this down. See how she's got it right here? How the curl is coming up. It's not bowed. Perfect job. The other thing that we have here is green frog tape. And we will take a look at the walls when we do mask everything off. And we will more than likely use that on the walls when we do mask off the parts where we're going to be spraying. You got to be careful though, because sometimes you got to just gauge how good of a paint job it is, because this can still pull paint off the wall if it's, you know, a bad paint job. For our cabinets, when we mask off the openings, I like PG5, and that is a very high-tack tape. You can see here, it's 3-day clean removal. The reason that we use this, we've used a bunch of different ones. We've used CP66 from Sherwin-Williams, Scotch masking tape. The reason we use this is because it's got a super high tack. That's just good for us, because if there's high humidity, high moisture content in the air, when we go to spray, it really sucks when you've got your wonderful opening and the tape blows out, and now you got a big thing in there. We don't want to do that. We don't want any issues, because sometimes people don't empty the cabinets, and that's fine, but that's what tape we use and why we use it. So we've got this here, and we're going to take our yellow frog tape, and we're going to run a little thing of yellow frog tape here. The reason we do this is because we don't want to put the regular tape down and have it pull anything up. So we go like this, get a nice long piece. We're going to try to bring it under if possible. A lot of the times it doesn't want to happen. Sometimes the plan comes together. It all blends perfectly. Bonus points to anybody that can quote the Outcast song that I just sang. So, as with everything we do, I'm not saying that this is the absolutely correct way of doing it. What I'm saying is this is the way that we do it, and we have a good reason for it. Lots of trial and error. So, take what you want and leave the rest. See, look at that. That one little piece, it was like, oh, I'll go right underneath there. That'll be perfect. The rest of it didn't want to play. We're going to come over here. This. There's always that little goofy corner. Just gotta play with it a little bit. It's okay. So we've got that there. Now, what I like to do, if you could take a picture of that right there, Ryan. Is we have this. What I like to do is take it over like this, overlap the tape a little bit. Overlapped, we can come through. Put down a regular IPG film. into all this trouble and we don't just use the yellow tape on the edges is because when you're walking on this stuff, it likes to move a little bit, and depending on the temperature and humidity, it likes to pull up. So that's why we like to stick the yellow underneath. So now we're moving on to numbering. Mr. Kyle has gone through here. He's got all the knobs off, which didn't take a video of that, but it's a Phillips bit screwdriver for the most part, almost every time. So he's gone through and numbered them. That being said, he just takes a piece of high-tack tape, puts the number on it, and we'll show you what we do from there. We like to do the numbering system in banks. We go from left to right all the time. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because of the shape of this kitchen, we've gone, yeah, there's really nothing else here. So we always do tops to bottoms. If we, this is a very small kitchen, but if we do, if there's multiple banks, sometimes we'll break them up into sections. So, but from there, we have 8, 9. Okay, so we just want to make it intuitive so you don't forget. It's always good to take pictures. Then we have the pain in the ass Lazy Susans. It is what it is. 10, 11. Sometimes these don't want to come off. Sometimes you can't easily take them off, so we will occasionally spray them in place, and we're going to do that here. But after that, you just keep going. It's Amanda's head. We didn't get her in the picture. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Alright, everybody. We are going to take this off here. Mr. Kyle's going to do that. He has it numbered. He's going to take it off in a very specific way. He's going to first take out the 2 screws holding it in. That will allow him to pull the door off. From there, we go ahead and bring it down. Now the reason that we do this is we like to, we want every single piece to match up with where it went exactly. So that's the reason we're doing this. At this point, taking them off. And he very specifically puts the screws right in there. With also the screw that held the door on, and then tapes it off, and then puts it back in the cabinet to the corresponding shelf. So if it came off the bottom one, he puts it to the bottom. If it came off the top, he puts it to the top. If there's not a shelf, basically we put the bottom one closest to the opening and the top one in the back, just so we know where it came from. And then the number. So we take the number of the cabinet and we always put it in the top. Put it in the top recess, and then you take a piece of tape and put it over, because when we're going to spray this, at the end of the job, we need to make sure that we put the exact cabinet back in the correct place. So that's how we do it. Boom. It's magic, huh? So we have everything taken off. All the doors, hinges. Amanda's finishing up the floor. So all of those are off. We have, nice. We have cabinets. We have energy drinks. And that's that. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the cabinet doors out. We're going to load them up in the, this one's got to be on top. Look at that. Never seen that before. Have to get that out. So we're going to load these up. Take them away. All of the doors and drawers are off. What we've also done is put a number of which drawer face goes to which drawer itself, and then we're going to go ahead and take these out. because what we're going to do is come down here. We're going to take these all out as well. All the glides and guides. Good thing to do is take a picture of how they go, so you don't put them in upside down or backwards, and where the hole is, because sometimes there's a couple holes. We don't want to deal with that. So, all right, so Kyle's going to take this out right now. One screw in there. Usually these, sometimes they just slide in. Sometimes you have to pull them out, like pop the side of it out in the back there to do that. Sometimes they're mean and have screws, but we're going to take those out. There's nothing worse than putting a kitchen together and then you're like 3 screws short. And you're going to go right back in there. Boom, done. Alright everybody, we have everything off. Kyle's going to take care of some issues here that we normally don't have, but we are going to start cleaning. Now these are pretty dirty, so we're actually going to add an extra step to this, which we normally wouldn't. We are going to wash them down with Crud Cutter first, and then we are going to wash them off with Dawn and water, just to make sure. And then they get a denatured alcohol, 50-50 denatured alcohol and water mix. This right here, we diluted about 50%. Sometimes we don't have to use this. We can just use the regular Dawn, which this doesn't have any kind of make your hands feel super smooth anything. This is just original. Denatured alcohol is awesome. I always say that it smells like Wisconsin. So I do have my bottles that I just pre-mixed beforehand. Crud Cutter if we need it. That's green. Denatured alcohol mix is 50-50 and nice and easy. Boom, dilution solution. That's about it. So this is a picture of the bottoms of cabinets. This is very, very, very common. We've been in $1 million houses, multi-million-dollar houses, $100,000 houses, and for the most part they look the same unless you have a cleaning staff. You never see the bottom of your cabinets, specifically the lowers. So this is pretty normal. On an area, these are the doors, and we're just showing this for illustration purposes. But where they're this contaminated, again normal. But what we would do in this instance, and what we did, we'll hit that with Crud Cutter first and let that sit for a while. We want to get some of that stuff, break some of the gunk up before we go ahead and wash with our Dawn mix. We did wash all the boxes with Dawn and water, Dawn dish soap and water, making sure that we don't have, again, we have just the original Dawn, nothing with any additives. And then we do a wash with 50-50 denatured alcohol and water. So everything's off, everything's ready to go for cleaning. Some of these are worse than others, but we got to make sure that there's no contamination whatsoever. You can see that there's a lot. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and deal with this first with our first scrub. I'm going to be pretty liberal here. Kind of just let it sit on there a little bit and break down. What I give the most attention to is the area around the stove. It's always the worst. So underneath the cabinets, above the stove, up there, above the microwave or hood range, what it usually is, there's always a lot of grease up there. So real important that we take care of that. So we've gone through and cleaned everything with Dawn dish soap and a green scrubbing pad. So the next, what we do is we have our 50-50 denatured alcohol and water. We're going to come through and we're going to get the face of everything. We're going to get the interior lip of everything. This side as well. Mosquitoes, go away. Let's
staying
That'll
in.
make it in the final cut. It's staying in. So as you can see, even though we've already cleaned it once, there's still funk on there. We're going to do that until it goes away. Okay. And this is very boring, but we're going to do this to the rest of the kitchen. It's not a big kitchen, it's pretty small actually. So on this, a lot of the finish is worn away over the years. This was obviously the knife drawer because there's all the stabby wounds. So you can see that that's, yeah, there you go. These right here, this just happens. If you do offer a warranty of any kind, you know, just assume that that's the place that you will eventually be touching up, because it just will happen. So that's about it. We're just gonna continue along with the rest of the kitchen, and that's we'll go from there. Good. Okay, at this point we have all the flooring masked off. And we're about to take the doors and drawers, take them to our place, and start the cleaning and preparation process on those there. Usually I call it a day at this point with the in-house with the client. This is where we want to make sure that, you know, they have access to their coffee pot, that they understand that now's not a good time to cook bacon or spaghetti or anything like that. That everything has been cleaned and it needs to stay clean, you know, before we can move on in our process.